So, this is what happens when you marathon episodes of Kim Possible and Ladybug. This happens. So welcome once again, guys, to Who Would Win, where basically I have a thought of two characters that would fight, and I talk about, what would it be like, and you guys tell me who do you think would win in this matchup. And yeah, I think this is the first tag team match in this I guess you could say series, which is Kim Possible and Ron Unstoppable and Kim Possible versus Ladybug and Cat Noir. Yeah, tag team match. So let's go over let's go over how this fight would go down. Obviously, they're these are two teams who both teams are very they both depend on one another. Each member depends on the other to get to complete the mission, and through it, you have the female lead and the male sidekick. And yeah, the difference being is that Ron's kind of a mess up. Cat Noir's not really that. He just messes up everything for everybody else. He is a smartass. So yeah, the other thing is that Cat Noir and Ladybug both have powers, while Ron and Kim do not. Kim and Ron, however, are both well-trained agents, although it's never really specified where they just get their skills. Yeah, so. They also carry a lot of gadgets, though Ron tends to mess them up. Kim, on the other hand, is proficient. She usually does a lot of the fighting. She has, she's a master hand-to-hand combatant. While Ron, on the other hand, if you want to go by series end, he did get the whole monkey thing going on for him. So yeah, you could say that he got all those powers, right? Ladybug and Cat Noir, on the other hand, Ladybug and Cat Noir, they have their power. They do have powers, Ladybug has the Lucky Charm, which gives her some sort of item that she can figure out in her head to pull out a plan and combat her opponent. While Cat Noir has the Cataclysm, which is something that, it's kind of like a bad touch. There's a bad luck touch. There's the better word, bad luck touch. Which anything he can touch, anything he touches with the Cataclysm, it either rots away or something else happens. Kind of like the whole black cat, bad luck kind of spiel going on. And also, Cat Noir and Ladybug are both really good hand-to-hand combatants. But the thing is that it's very, it's kind of mentioned a lot that Kim and Ron were more or less trained for this. Ladybug and Cat Noir, most of their abilities come from their powers and their own intuition. They didn't really get a lot of training, although I'm pretty sure in Season 2, the healer guy, I can't remember his name, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to start training Ladybug and Cat Noir. But for now, since this is Season 1, end of Season 1, Cat Noir and Ladybug, they don't really have any training. It's more reactionary. But they do have equipment, Ladybug has her yo-yo, and Cat Noir has his bow staff. Both of which, his bow staff can actually extend to, all the way up into the fucking sky, while Ladybug's yo-yo, I know it has another name, but it's a fucking yo-yo. Hers it's almost like the Spider-Man web, which again, I understand, Ladybug was loosely based off of Spider-Man. So, when she uses it's almost unbreakable. Yeah, the yo-yo, when it wraps somebody up, you're not going anywhere. That thing is damn near unbreakable. The other thing is, again, that's what contains the Lucky Charm. However, Kim and Ron have years of battle experience, but, for the short time, on the other hand, on the short time Ladybug and Cat Noir have been doing this, they've got some battle experience of their own. They actually, they've learned a thing or two as well. You gotta look at that as well. But the other thing is that they're designed to fight Akumas. They're designed to fight akumatized human beings. Kim and Ron, on the other hand, are... they're planned for everything. They've got, they fought, aliens, demons, monkey ninjas, mad scientists, you name it, they fought it. But the Akumas, the akumatized human beings, all have their own strengths and weaknesses, similar to Kim and Ron's Rogues Gallery. However, they don't come back. When someone gets evilized, they usually don't come back. But that is something I've always wanted to, I've always wanted to see them explain. Is it a one and done that you get evilized, or you get bummed out again and then you can go back to being the villain? I don't know. I hope they explain that in season 2 of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Anyway, getting back to this. Anyway, but yeah, and also you have to look at gadgets. Like I said, Ladybug and Cat Noir only have their bow staffs and the yo-yo, whereas Kim and Ron usually pack a lot more gear. You know, laser lipstick, hair dryer that has a grappling hook, jetpack, all of that stuff. You know, they have a multitude of weapons at their arsenal. However, you know, you look at it the other way. Ladybug and Cat Noir have, Ladybug and Cat Noir. They have some durability, and they're pretty agile, and they're very think on their feet. You know, similar to Kim and Ron, where they can just think of a plan right off the bat. Also, despite they do kind of argue a bit. Ladybug and Cat Noir, they're a great team. You know, they're an excellent team back to back. You know, they complement one another. Kim and Ron also do that. You know, they're both, in terms of like team strength, there's no arguing between the two teams. There's no real arguing between either side. They're both well-oiled partners on each sides of the spectrum. So yeah, they're going to be, both teams are going to be communicating with one another back and forth and trying to mix it up constantly. So yeah, that's another factor you have to look at. That Kim and Ron and Ladybug and Cat Noir both have great chemistry between their both separate teams. You know, one can't do the other thing without the other there, right? And that's kind of the thing. Now, the way I see it is that where was I going with this? Kim and Ron do have the gadgets, but on the other hand, Ladybug and Cat Noir have the superpowers, but they're still doing it. They're still new to this. They're still learning it, and who's to say they don't learn any new abilities later on down the through the other seasons? But again, right for right now, it's just season 1 Ladybug and Cat Noir as of this recording for this matchup. So this is a tough one, guys. This is an interesting one I thought I would put out there, because there are strengths and weaknesses. You could say that Ladybug and Cat Noir are, they're the rookies, but they've kind of, in the short time they've been around, they've actually, proved themselves. They've actually proved themselves a few times over. Kim and Ron, but on the other hand, Kim and Ron look like they've been doing this even before season 1. So you got to look at it like that way is that they have the more experience. But on the other hand, superpowers do count for something. However, powers don't count for anything if you don't know how to use them. Having said that, though, it does look like Ladybug and Cat Noir can do that. And here's the other factor. Unlike the miraculous that Ladybug and Cat Noir carry, that have they have a time limit, especially when they use the Lucky Charm or Cataclysm. Kim and Ron, on the other hand, they don't. Their gadgets, if you break them, that's the only way you stop them is if you break them, or in Ron's case, he breaks them. But still. Ladybug and Cat Noir are still a formidable team, even in a time limit that their powers have. So you guys tell me, who do you think would come out on top in this matchup? If you think Kim and Ron would win, just put #KimRon, or Kim, I don't know, the shipping name for Kim and Ron. Just put #KimRon and list off the reasons why you think Kim and Ron would be the victors in this fight. Or if you think Ladybug and Cat Noir would be the victors in this fight, put #LadyNoir and also list off the reasons why you think Ladybug and Cat Noir would be the victors in this fight. Anyway, really interested to see what you guys have to say about this one. And yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.